be seated.
Hello, Your Honor. This is a case of Lawrence versus Simmons.
Thank you, Jerome.
You're welcome.
Good day, everyone. Ms. Lawrence, you claim that 6 months ago, your mother, the defendant, shared a secret she'd kept from you your entire life. After 28 years believing one man was your biological father, you've now learned it may be another. You have petitioned the court for a paternity test to find out if the man waiting outside of our courtroom today is indeed your biological father. Now, Ms. Simmons, you admit to keeping a lifelong secret from your daughter. You claim you recently ran into an ex-lover on a bus. You say that for the very first time, you told this man that he could be your daughter's dad. We'll meet him in just a few moments. But first, Ms. Lawrence, please tell the court how your mother revealed her 28-year secret to you.
First off, I just want to say that I am definitely emotionally frustrated with her. She called me about 6 months ago, and when I answered the phone, she was hysterically crying, and of course, I didn't know what was going on. And I'm asking her, what's wrong, what's wrong? She's beating around the bush, telling me all these random stories. And then finally, she goes into saying that she met some random man on the bus and that he could possibly be my father.
One day, you were just sitting at home talking to your mother.
Talking to my mom, just a regular phone
and
call.
out of the blue, she says that someone else could be your father.
That someone else can be my father.
What did you feel like? 28 years, and you think another man is your father?
Definitely betrayed things that we're like the best of friends. She could have definitely told me a long time ago.
Mom, let me hear from you. What happened?
I ran into Rudy on the bus one day on the way from school. And I'm like, I know him, you know, from my past. I've never forgotten him. And I say, excuse me, what is your name? Is your name Rudolph? And he says, yes. I say, Rudolph Rockamore. He says, yes, it is. He asks me, who are you? And I look at him like this. I'm like, for real, really? And I'm like, I'm Yvette.
Look,
I'm
okay.
Yvette, yes.
You better recognize,
Exactly.
huh?
Exactly. We started talking for a second. He even passed up his bus stop. We exchanged phone numbers and just says, call me later. So we, you know, conversated for a while, like, where have you been? I haven't seen you in a long time. When did you come back to LA?
She conversed. I want to know what the conversation would happen when it got to the good part.
Look, Miss Simmons, she want to know what happened as it relates to her and the fact that this man could potentially be her father.
Well,
how did it get to that part of the conversation?
In the conversation with Rudolph, I told him it's a possibility that I may have your child.
Wow. What was his response to this?
I said, he say, what would make you think that it's my daughter? I say, because there's really no resemblance to the man that she calls her father. And
Excuse me. Sorry. I just want to know why you didn't tell me before, like.
I couldn't. I had no idea. I had no idea.
When you say you
No idea
couldn't,
about what?
Miss Simmons, why do you say you couldn't?
The man that she calls her father, I mean, she's a daddy's girl, most definitely. I didn't want to break the bond between her and her dad. You know, I thought I would never see him again, so I felt that there was no reason for me to bring this up to her.
I think her initially telling me from the beginning would have made it more, you know what I mean?
So you
now
knew,
it's just...
you knew, Miss Simmons, this man really may not be her father. You made that call on your own, and you've held this secret by yourself all these years?
Actually, I wasn't even really sure because me and her dad had broken up. And when I went back home and got with her dad, I found out like I was almost 3 months pregnant.
But once you realized you were pregnant, you knew in your mind that you were not certain who your daughter's father was.
True.
What was your relationship like, Ms. Lawrence, with your father growing up?
Oh, it was amazing. It was amazing. Wherever he would go, I would go. My dad always made sure I had money in my pocket. always the flyest. I mean, back in those days, I'm an 80s baby, so Elises, Filas,
trust me,
LA
I was
Gears,
alive in the
you know.
80s too. I won't tell my age, but I remember trying to be fly as well.
Yeah,
So you had a good relationship.
Me and my dad had a very, I mean, we still do to this day. We have a really, really good relationship, and definitely, I mean, because he, you know, he had kind of like that thug life lifestyle to where he was, you know, kind of in and out of prison. So growing up, it kind of affected like just me being in relationships with men, and I've only had one real long-term relationship, and that's my child's father. And he took care of me too. Like, he took care of me like when my dad wasn't there. My baby's dad took care of me. I mean, we would joke around. It would be to a point to where he would say certain things like, you know who your daddy is, you know what I mean? Like, I would call him dad sometimes just because he was that male figure. And
because you were looking for that male figure.
Right.
Now, Ms. Simmons, how does it make you feel to hear your daughter say this?
It hurts. It hurts a lot. I never really knew that she felt like that. Me not telling her was because I didn't want to hurt her, or I didn't want to hurt her.
You didn't think that it would hurt me more now than it would a long time ago?
I never thought I would run into him. I never thought I would see him again.
But that's what I want to know too. Like, even still, if you didn't see him, like, I don't know.
I mean, why bring up somebody that's not there? He was non-existent.
If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. If you hadn't run into him on this bus, this was a done deal for you. You were gonna go to your grave with your daughter thinking.
And that's exactly what she said.
And how does that make you feel?
That's deep. That hurts. With all of this happening, like everything was happening so fast. One day she'd tell me about him. The next day she's sending the man pictures. I don't know this man. I've never heard him. I never heard about him. Rudolph. I don't know him.
So wait a minute. So you're telling me that since your mother reunited and found Mr. Rockmore, she's been sending him pictures, and she's told him pretty much that he's your dad.
Basically, I mean, I don't know if she told him that he was my dad, but it's to the point to where his family is like, oh, she belonged to us, and she's a Rockmore for sure, and I'm a Lawrence.
Miss Simmons, I need to understand from you if you really get what this 28-year secret has done to your daughter.
I mean, you know what? I also didn't have a relationship with my biological father. And for like 11 years, I never knew this man. I had never seen this man. I shared my brothers and sisters' dad. And so when I finally, you know, met my dad, I could identify like who I look like and all of this. He wasn't a very good person, but I digress. But because she had that relationship with her father, who she calls her father, who did her hair when she was little. She didn't want me to do it. He combed her hair. He made her up pretty. I couldn't tell her.
But now, what's his name again? Rudolph. Is in sight, in mind. Like, he's here now, like he's around. She know. They be together all the time.
But you have never met this man.
Not a day in my life.
I think the time is now. I know I want to meet him. Do you?
Not really.
You don't? But I think it's the missing piece to the answers that you're seeking. I'll do it with you. How about that?
Indeed.
Jerome, will you please escort Mr. Rockmore to the courtroom, please?
Come on in. Go up to the left.
Good day, Mr. Rockmore.
How you doing?
Please step up to the podium. Thank you for joining us today. Mr. Rockmore, this is the first time you've ever laid eyes on Ms. Lawrence,
Yes.
a young lady that could potentially be your biological daughter.
Yes.
When you look at her today, Do you feel like this could be a real possibility?
Yeah, I could see some resemblance by the eyes.
Ms. Lawrence, how do you feel right now?
I have butterflies in my stomach. I really do. I don't feel like there's any like attachment or like he could be my dad or.
You didn't
I
feel
mean, I
anything.
look at my dad, the person that I call dad, I look at him and I'm like, that's my dad. That's who I look like. You know, my mom's brown skin, my dad's dark skin, and, you know, like, I feel like I look like Mr. Lawrence.
When Mr. Rockmore walked into this courtroom just now, you felt nothing.
Besides us having the same skin color, no.
Mr. Rockmore, take me to the day that you ran into Miss Simmons on the bus.
I had got on the bus and she was sitting across from me and I was looking at her and
You were looking at her because you recognized her or you were looking at her?
I didn't recognize her. I was looking because she was looking good, and then I was looking, I was saying to myself, well, she got some beautiful lips. And
Not knowing you had already been there, done that.
yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay. I'm with you though. So at least we know you're consistent. You liked her all over again.
Yeah, exactly. She was looking over at me, and when she looked at me, I didn't want her to see me looking, so I like turned my head a little bit.
Okay.
Then she asked, was my name Rudolph? And I was like, yeah. She said, Rudolph Rockmore. I was like, yeah. And she was like, well, I'm Yvette. And I was like, Yvette. And then she put her glasses down and looked, and I said, oh, okay. Then I remembered her and got her phone number. We exchanged numbers, and I got off, and she spoke, she had called me, and we talked for a while. She said she had something to tell me. She said I might have a daughter. And, I got quiet at first, and I couldn't believe it, I was like, and then she told me she was 28 years old, and I was like, wait a minute, that's a long time. That's a lot of time lost out of a kid's life. I mean, when we separated, I used to come back by her mom's house and just see if I can see her out or anything, but I guess they had moved. And
Yes,
I'm sorry.
Miss Lawrence, yeah.
Why do you want to know if I'm your child or not?
because I think it's important to know who are my kids, if I have kids.
It's been a
out there.
really long time. Like, I can't fault you at all. I can't fault you for what's going on, but you can't push me on the swing no more. Like,
No, it's a lot of time lost.
yeah,
I
I
mean,
can't be pushed on the swing. No more big wheels. What do
I
you
could
think
just get
this
to
is?
know you and, try to spend some time with you. I can't take the place of, if you're my daughter, the guy that's been taking care of you, I can never take his place because he's been there. But I just like to get to know you and spend time with you.
If he is found to be your biological father, what do you want going forward?
Gradually, slowly but surely, we can, get to know each other. But off
So
top,
you'd be willing to do
initially,
that?
Eventually, I can't say not at this very moment. Like, let's go home and sit up and chop it up. But eventually, yeah.
And if he isn't your father?
Hey, going back to Vegas.
It would be.
I'm not to say I'm gonna be excited that you're not my dad, but I mean, this can just be like, I can just brush it off my shoulders and continue on with whatever I was doing. It'll be a relief.
Miss Simmons, how do you feel
Just to know.
standing in the room now?
For one, I want to apologize to my daughter. I never meant to hurt you or keep something from you as important as this. Like I said, I understand the relationship between you and your dad, and I didn't want to bring up old wounds. He wasn't around. I didn't know where he was.
You don't feel like that apology sincere?
Well, she's apologized multiple times already.
When you stepped into this courtroom today, the first thing you did was acknowledge the fact that the man that raised her, that she acknowledges as daddy, was there for her and took care of her. And I thought it was so admirable that when you asked her whether or not you two could potentially work on having some type of relationship, that you acknowledge that you would never be him, but that you could also be there for her in your own way.
Yes.
Well, I think it's time to solve this 28-year mystery. Jerome, do you have the envelope?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Okay, go slow, go slow, go slow. Go slow, go slow.
I always do. Do you want to watch Paternity Court on TV? Go to paternitycourt.tv to find your local listings. These results, as prepared by DNA Diagnostics, read as follows. In the case of Lawrence versus Simmons, when it comes to 29-year-old Shatika, Mr. Rockmore, you are her father.
No, leave me alone right now, please, Mom. Stop. Oh my God.
Please. Babe. Get up, shit. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Miss Lawrence, there's some tissue for you.
Here for you.
Mom, get back on your side.
Oh, man.
Can you put your feelings into words and explain?
I don't have words. Oh, my goodness.
Mr. Rockmore, how do you feel today? This is,
Dang.
I'm sure, overwhelming for you as well.
Yeah, I feel nervous. It's a lot of time gone to not know you have a daughter. That's a secret that shouldn't have been kept.
Miss Lawrence, a lot of men in his situation would not step forward in this way. I know you said it's gonna take you some time, but understand that this truth has opened a door for you. Don't look at it as a closed door, because you're always gonna have the relationship you have with your daddy. But look at it that this truth has opened yet another door for you, to have another man there in your life as a father figure. I wish you all the best of luck. Court is adjourned.
Thank you.
I know I'll never be able to take your dad's place, but I will like to be in your life.
I thank you for being the man that you are, because like she said, most men wouldn't step up and do things like this nowadays. It would just be way over their head and it would get bypassed. So thank you for that.